Namaskar. Good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to each one of you to this very special session of Tuesday gatherings. We have with us today someone who can be known only when you meet him. And you are going to have a taste of it today when he speaks. I had the good fortune of meeting Kanhaiya Solegaonkar when I and my wife visited Dadaji once in the year 2010. And it was very heartening to discover that Solegaonkar ji and his wife, Snehal Solegaonkar, have taken care of Dadaji with such dedication that is not easily found in the world today. Solegaonkar ji comes from an illustrious family. His father was a great painter, a product of J.J. School of Arts. His paintings find place in so many important places, including the Indian Parliament. And he was so much dedicated to the art of painting that he spent many years researching the methodology of painting in the Ajanta caves. And while he was working there, day in and day out, for years together, the family was supported by Solegaonkarji's mother, who took it upon herself to bring up the children, to take care of everything, because she understood that her husband was involved in a pursuit which required total dedication, even though it was not going to bring any monetary rewards per se. And Solegaonkarji told me that in one of the diaries his father maintained, in the last chapter or one of the last chapters, he wrote that he had really understood the methodology of painting, which was evident from what was available in Ajanta caves, because those paintings had been created not by one man, by hundreds of painters who worked in a state of total dedication to the art of painting for hundreds of years. And after this happened, his paintings acquired a divine flavor. They were so much appreciated and found so many admirers. Mr. Solegaonkar himself did his engineering. He did jobs, he was doing business. But since childhood he had been in touch with masters. I am not going to let the cat out of the bag because I have already requested him to speak to us during one session about how he met various masters and what he received from them. But suffice to say that Solegaonkarji was in touch with Guruji Dr. Premji Nirmal for a number of years. And one day when he said that, is it possible to meet a person who is in that state which the saints talk about? And Guruji said, yes, you can meet my master. And he took him to Mahabaleshwar, and that is when he met Dadaji. And meeting Dadaji was quite a landmark in his sadhana and his turning within and choosing choiceless awareness. And this was greatly facilitated by the fact that later on in life he became one of the persons who took care of Dadaji, who took care of his food, his needs and requirements, and served him so selflessly. And today he is coming to us with a special topic. Most of us have read Mahabharata, we read the scriptures, we know about the story. And in today's time, there is a lot of emphasis on finding out the historicity of the characters, where it happened, how it happened, what happened, can we date it in time, and figure out what happened. But what Solegaonkar ji is going to teach us is that Mahabharata is happening right within ourselves. And all the characters are active within ourselves. And it is only when we turn within and understand the relevance of each character, we can learn from Mahabharata. And it can become a big turning point in our sadhana or inner pursuit. So I will not stand between my eager audience and Solegaonkar ji. I must tell you, Solegaonkar ji, we are so pleased to have you here with us. And we are indeed grateful to you for having spared your time and energy and for having agreed to talk to us today. So most welcome, sir. It's all yours now. Thank you.
गिरिजामते सहचरा प्राणा शरीरं गृहम् पूजाते विषयोपभोगरचना निद्रा समाधिस्थिते सञ्चारः पदयोः प्रदक्षिणविधे स्तोत्राणि सर्वा गिरो यद्यत् कर्म करोमि तत्तदखिलं शम्भो तवाराधनम् करचरणकृतं वा कायजं कर्मजं वा श्रवणनयनजं वा मानसं वा पराधम् विहितमविहितं वा सर्वमेतत् क्षमस्व जय जय करुणाब्धे श्री महादेव शंभो. Can we have the PPT on?
जी सर.
I wanted this photo of Mahavatar Babaji. What I am going to talk today is based on the guidelines given by Mahavatar Babaji. He had, I understand, told people that our scriptures contain some useful knowledge. They are not just myths. He had, they say, written, he had told Lahiri Mahasaya about the understandings hidden in these scriptures, some 23 scriptures. But I tried searching for them and I was told that they are all in Bangla and I couldn't trace them. Only one of them reached the light of the day because that was by Paramahansa Yoganand. He wrote his book, God Talks with Arjuna, which is commentary on Bhagavad Gita. And it gives all the understandings coming from Mahavatar Babaji. So let us take blessings of Mahavatar Babaji before we start talking of this subject. I will start from where I got all these ideas. Babaji, my first guru, which I was telling you about, told us once about the meaning of Mahabharata. He said Ram is Atma, Lakshman is Man, Sita is Buddhi, and Ravan is Ahankar. The essence of Ramayana is that Ravan, Ahankar, kidnapped Buddhi of Rama. And when Rama met Hanumanji meaning Pavanaputra Pranayam, with the help of Pranayam, Ram rescued his Buddhi from the ego. This is in a nutshell the understanding of how we look at Ramayana. And then I said, if this is the meaning of Ramayana, then you must tell me what is the meaning of Mahabharata. And he said, bhai beta, mere paas time nahi hai. He knew that his life was limited. He said, mere paas time nahi hai. Lekin I tell you that तेरे को कोई ना कोई मिलेगा जो तेरे को बताएगा ये क्या मीनिंग है. And he said, but this is the understanding which is in Gita, which is inherent in Mahabharata. But you will not understand Gita or Mahabharata till somebody explains you how to look at it. So one condition is that you will not touch Gita till you find the person who's telling you what is inside the Gita and Mahabharata. And then I got this book of Yoganand Paramahansa, God Talks in Arjuna. And then I touched Gita after long years. And when I was going through that book, I realized that Gita and Mahabharata cannot be based on two different things. So the essence which is involved in Gita should also be the events of Mahabharata. So with this understanding, I started working on what must be the understanding of Mahabharata. And that I have tried capturing in today's presentation. Can we go next slide? This is the very common thing. Santa Claus and on Christmas time, we tell children that, Santa Claus will come and you must keep your stockings under your pillow and then he will put the presents for you and things like that. And we had a nice little daughter-in-law that time, and she said that I want to send him the list of things I want. So what is his email? So we told her that, santaclaus@gmail.com. And she sent a email on santaclaus@gmail.com. And that list was taken by her father and everything was put in the stockings. And next day she believed that Santa Claus had come. But you know what? All children enjoy this happening. And we keep them happy by continuing their belief that this is exactly what happens. Don't you think this is what happens with us and God? We have heard so much about God, but how much of it is the reality? We don't know what it is. We just have a nice concept of God that, we go to Hanumanji's temple on Saturday, then we'll do good in exam. And if we go to Ganeshji's temple on Tuesday, then we will have something special. Yes, and we would teach the same things to our children, definitely, that puts them on a right track. But are we following the same track still? Or we want to come back to reality? Next slide, please. So what the masters say is God exists, but image of God is not God. The picture of God, the idol of God, that is not God. The God exists. But do we know what is the real God? We are pursuing still the image of God. They say that they can point out towards God. But it is you who have to see it. They can't take you to God and show him to you. And then they say next thing is, God can be seen by Prajna Chakshu, not Charma Chakshu. You know the difference. Charma Chakshu is our physical eyes, and Prajna Chakshu is our heightened understanding, the intelligence. And till we have our Prajna Chakshus open, we can't understand God. God is a multidimensional energy. Some people say, Dadaji said that God is a 12-dimensional reality. No, we can't imagine something beyond 3-dimensional world. 4th dimension is difficult for us to understand. And if somebody says God is 12-dimensional thing, then how are we going to sort of, sharpen our sensitivity to work in 12 dimensions simultaneously? Anyway, so on this path, nobody can give anything on a silver platter. They can at the most show us the way. And one has to proceed with one's own efforts and responsibility. You can't say that I am working on this path, now you are responsible that I reach there. No. Nobody is responsible. You have to take your understanding, you have to find out that you have understood it correctly, and you have to take the risk and you have to start the walk, and you have no guarantees where you will end up. But with that, if you start walking, some of them can reach. Maybe some of them may not. But unless you really want it that desperately, you will never start on it. There's one more thing I wanted to, the 6th point, Akashat patitam toyam yatha gacchati sagaram, sarvadeva namaskara keshavam prati gacchati. You understand this? What it is saying is, whatever rain comes from the skies and falls on earth, it ultimately ends up reaching the sea. It falls on the hill. From the hill, the small streams start join each other, and then the big stream becomes, and then the big stream goes and joins a small river, and then ultimately it goes to a big river, which ultimately ends up in going to the sea. So that's how every drop that drops from sky reaches the sea in the end. Do we now say that if the rain falls on seashore, the rain should go up the hill and then join that stream and then join the bigger stream and then the bigger river and then go to soul. You must know where you are and what you need at that point. If you are already on the seashore, you get into the sea. And they say, na, कि जिन खोजा तिन पाइया गहरे पानी बैठ मैं बौरा डूबन डरा रहा किनारे बैठ. तो हम बाहर बैठे रहेंगे. जो रिस्क लेके जाएगा तो कहीं ना कहीं तो पहुंचेगा. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज. In all those things, like, scriptures are also supposed to be very useful to us in giving all this understanding. But scriptures have a little problem because they are having their own symbology. And unless we understand how to decode that symbology, we can't make much of, like, I gave you the understanding of Mahabharata which we got from our Babaji, and then the symbology is that Ram is Atma, Sita is Buddhi, Lakshman is Man, Ravan is ego. So similarly, so let us see what is the Mahabharata symbology. Like, Mahabharata is a very big scripture written by Maharshi Vyas. And Maharshi Vyas is a very special person. He wrote all the Vedas. I won't say wrote, he composed all the Vedas. He downloaded Vedas from the atmosphere, and then Upanishads and all the scriptures, and he downloaded from Puranas and everything he downloaded. And after that, he touched Mahabharata. And people said that Mahabharata is story about Kauravs Pandavas fighting in the house, and then the whole family went to dogs. So Mahabharata should not be studied should not be brought inside the house. Now, Maharshi Vyas, who has written all these big scriptures, he couldn't have written Mahabharata, which is a cause of infighting in a family. So let us see what is the symbology that is involved in Mahabharata. I will give you some clue to the fact that there is something in Mahabharata which is different from normal. So, like, Maharshi Vyas was wanted to write Mahabharata, and he wanted a writer. So he met Brahmaji and said that he wants a writer. So Brahmaji said, I request Ganeshji to be the writer. So Vyasji said to Ganeshji that I'm writing this Mahabharata, and could you help me with being writer for that? Ganeshji was another very smart person. He put a condition to Vyasji that, okay, I'll do the writing, but I will not stop. If you stop in between, I'll get up and go. Now, Maharshi Vyas was no less. He said, agreed, I will not make you wait even a second. But my condition is that you should not write anything which you have not understood fully. You should write only after you fully understand. And Mahabharata says that Ganeshji had to wait many times to understand what is written in Mahabharata. And what is the sincerity? Ganeshji's intelligence, nobody can doubt. Vidya ki devta hai. But Ganeshji broke his pen, and he did not have to want to stop. So he broke his tooth and started using his tooth as pen to continue writing without taking a break. That grade of sincerity and that grade of intelligence And he had to wait many times to understand what is being told. Next slide, please. There is another thing in the Mahabharata. Maharshi Vyas wrote the Mahabharata, but he did not allow its public presentation till Janmejaya's Sarpasatra was over. Now Vyasji is Arjuna's grandfather and Janmejaya is Arjuna's great-grandson. And he had that tussle with Takshak, and therefore he had that Sarpasatra in which all the snakes were being sacrificed. Till that yajna, till after that yajna, Vyas did not allow public knowledge of this Mahabharata. So that what it tells me is, what it means is, what actually happened in the Mahabharata war and what actually is written in Mahabharata may be different. Otherwise, what is the fear? That, anybody alive who had seen Mahabharata should not read Mahabharata so that he can verify that there is a difference. So if that precaution was taken, then to me it means that, Mahabharata contains something more or different from what actually happened in the war. And there is something in Mahabharata which even Ganeshji found difficult to understand immediately. Now with this we start what it can be. Next slide, please. Now this is the famous Mahabharata picture. On one side is Kauravas, one side were Pandavas, and Arjuna was right in front of the Pandava side, and he could see all of Kaurav side. And then suddenly he says, Senayor Ubhayor Madhye Ratham Sthapaya Mechyuta. He can see all of Kaurav from where he was. Why does he have to go in between the two warring factions and go in between and make himself vulnerable? He wants to keep talking to Krishna, and from there, Kaurav side, if somebody had just shot one arrow, the war would have been over that time. But still he wanted to do that. So mythology, when we see the mythology or anything about mythology, don't ask, is this possible? Ask, if this is what it is, then what it means. So we are going to see Mahabharata, this Mahabharata, one side Kaurav side, one side Pandav side, and Arjuna and Krishna are learning Gita, standing in between. There can be many things we can see in this one picture also. But we will finish it very fast and go further. Like, they say that Krishna holding the reins of the horses is the safest thing for Arjuna to be in that chariot. When the God himself is holding the reins of the horses, and the horses are supposed to be your Jnanendriya and Karmendriya. Your forces are being controlled by Krishna, is the safest place to be in. Then next thing to be noted in this is, there is Hanumanji in that flag at the top. Hanumanji is, as we saw in the Ramayana, Pavan Putra, Pranaya. Bhim is Pavan Putra. Bhim is Pavan Putra, but breath. Hanumanji is Pavan Putra Pranayam. By the difference, Hanumanji is a great bhakta also. That Ram Bhakti and then that bhakti coming to Krishna also. That bhakti with that pran is a very bigger thing. So this is what can be understanding, and such understandings we will try to see from Mahabharata to see what it means to us and how we can benefit from it. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. This slide I will also come at the end after we have learned all the things. It says what is the way to take decision. So after understanding what Mahabharata has done, we will come back to that slide at the end. I am alone, want to be many. Is it same as Big Bang? Like, in the Western world, they thought that there was nothing in the universe. There was no universe. There was nothing. Then how anything came out of nothing? Their technology doesn't allow them to think that something can come out of nothing. Right? So they said that there was nothing, but then there was a Big Bang, and the Big Bang resulted into everything suddenly. We don't have to go in that Big Bang. Our Brahma was there. He was alone. And he said that I am alone and I'm not happy being just alone. Can I have company to share things with each other? So, can I be many? And Brahma became many. That is how our world originated. Their Western world originated by Big Bang. But after he was many, what happened? Next slide, please. That Brahma was all energy. And the energy was he converted the energy to many forms. The first form was when the energy became mineral. Like the left-hand corner is what the energy did. The energy first became mineral. Then the energy became vegetables. Then the energy further evolved into animals. And the animals, the last stage of evolution of animals was human being. Now, what were the changes in between? The minerals had only physical form, right? Vegetables had physical form plus etheric. They had breathing. We know that vegetables breathe. Then the animals had physical, then breath, and then instinct also. There is a program in animals, how they behave. And then came finally the human species. This human species is fully evolved. It has not only physical, etheric, and instinct, but also mind and intellect. So when the minerals had physical, there was only existence, vegetable, breath and growth. Then animals had movement also, and humans can now think, discriminate, choose the activity and things like that. Next slide, please. Now this background was to tell you that in human form, these physical body we can see. Then etheric body is the pranic body. Then there is a manomaya kosh. You know that there is pancha kosh, annamaya kosh, pranamaya kosh, then manomaya kosh, vijnanmaya kosh, anandmaya kosh. All these 5 sheets we know. So they are actually the energy bodies around the physical body. We have our physical body and our breath so long as it is going on. Then we have the energy of breath as a aura of ours, which is pranamaya kosh. And then our mind is also gathering of lot of information and data and everything. So then there is that manomaya kosh, and then there is that vijnanmaya kosh, which is refined mind functioning. The mind is not logical so much. The intellect is more logical and sharp. So these sheets we have got from our nature. Next slide, please. So far, so good. Any questions? Any want to ask anything? We can spend. Otherwise, we
Carry
can.
on, Kanhaiya. It is wonderful.
Okay. So then, for the next thing, let me go into this Maslow's theory of need hierarchy. Maslow was a very big scientist. He had, as I understand, a Nobel Prize in something. But he gave a theory of hierarchy of the needs. Next slide, please. Can you read this? He said that there is a hierarchy of the needs. The lowest are our physiological needs, like biological and physiological. I'll read this. Basic life needs: air, food, drink, shelter, warmth, sex, sleep. All these are our fundamental needs, without which nothing can happen. Then the next hierarchy of the need is safety need. After the biological needs are met, then the safety needs arise. Then the safety needs are protection, then security, order, law, limit, stability, and all these things which ensure our safety are a higher dimension of needs. Beyond that is belongingness and love. After we have our safety and security, then we have need of, others to associate with, something to belong to. So belongingness, our relations, friends and relatives and all those things we start needing. After that, everything is there. Then you want to be better than the others. The esteem needs start. Then you want bigger house than your neighbor. You want larger car than your neighbor. You want responsibility. You just don't want to be general manager. You have to be president or managing director. And then you have to be reputed person. Like, you can't be just known in the village. You have to be in the newspapers. That becomes a need. Then after that is met, then you have cognitive needs. Then you want to know more things. Then you want to have meaning. Then you want to have self-awareness and all these things. All these are met. You still have more bigger needs. Aesthetic needs. Then you want something beautiful. You can't be having a tomb in ordinary thing. Where you need a Taj Mahal for your tomb. So the bigger and bigger and bigger needs start arising. And Maslow's theory was, till the lower needs are met, higher needs don't arise. Only after the lower needs are met, the higher need will arise. Till then, you won't be bothered about, you don't have something to eat and you are not going to look for a better car. Simple. So this is what is the hierarchy of needs, and this is coming from Maslow. Next slide, please. And how do we use this understanding? Next slide, please.
Somehow the presentation, I will play again, sir. It's okay. it worked. Is this the next slide, sir? Yes, it got stuck in between. Ji, sir.
Not very good at preparing PPTs, because without you, I wouldn't have taken the risk. Now, I have written the same needs which you saw in that triangle here. The same biological needs, then belongingness and love, Manipur esteem needs, Anahat cognitive needs, then Vishuddhi aesthetic needs, and Ajna self-actualization, and Sahasrara is transcendence. We have chakras in our body. You all heard about chakras? See, we have a physical body and we have our subtle bodies. Now, how are they connected with each other, or they remain as independent entities? No, we are a total being consisting of physical as well as all the subtle bodies. Now, if they are supposed to be together, then they must be communicating with each other. How do they communicate with each other? They communicate with each other through chakras. Chakras are the energy flows between the physical to all the bodies. These bodies are interacting with each other, and we can't have isolated functioning of any body. All the bodies together makes it our being. So what we do, or what we can do, or what we have is this combined structure of physical, pranic, manomaya, vijnanmaya, anandmaya, and all these bodies interacting with each other and making our balanced living. Now, how it goes? So these chakras you all must be knowing. So all these chakras, depending on the type of needs they are dealing with, are at a different frequency. They have higher and higher frequencies as you go up. Like Mooladhara is the grossest. Like they have petals, right? The petals are indicative of their vibrancy. Mooladhara is 4 petals, Swadhisthana is 6 petals, and Sahasrara is 1000 petals. So this vibrancy of this material which is being handled by the chakras is different for the type of higher dimensional variable that they are dealing with. Okay, go further. Now this is what brings Mahabharata into it. The Pandavas were they say like what Mahatar Babaji has said. These Pandavas were the discretionary virtues, discriminative capacities, and Kauravas are sensual tendencies. Now, Mahabharata, as Gaur sir said, is a war between Pandavas and Kauravas, which is sensual tendencies and discretionary forces. And what we have to win is this war between sensual tendencies and discretionary forces. So we have to know what Pandavas are doing, what Kauravas are doing, what Krishna is doing, what Bhishma, Drona, Karupacharya, all these big shots are doing. So what are they? They are all inside us. They are part of our chakras. So we go further from here. Next slide. So where are these chakras? You see the central figure? At the top is that funnel-like thing. That funnel-like thing is bringing the energies of balance of all these bodies. In that earlier slide, I wanted to show the slides, the bodies, the subtle bodies. Now I'm trying to show you the chakras. So I'm not so much focused on two bodies. You can see the different colors bodies. But the funnel at the top is showing the chakra, maybe that Sahasrara chakra, which is doing the exchange of information between all these bodies at the top. Now, is it possible to sort of take the...
Sir, what do you want, sir? You want me to go back?
I want this right and... yeah, that's it.
Go back, sir.
This I wanted to show this right-hand picture.
Okay.
Now this picture is showing the locations of chakras. This is Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipur, Anahat, Vishuddhi, Ajna and Sahasrara. So Sahasrara chakra is shown here in this picture at the top. And similar funnels will be there in the locations of the remaining chakra, doing the communication between all the bodies, physical and the subtle. Does it communicate the point? Okay. So our existence is physical body with all these subtle bodies, which are communicating with each other through the chakras. And one more thing, the next thing, we have all these Granthi. We have these granthis in our body. Na? So each granthi is associated with the chakra. Each chakra is part of one granthi. So our granthis functioning properly also depends on the chakras functioning properly. So if our behavior is sensual behavior, getting into our satisfying all the lower needs of tendencies, then the whole behavior is going to influence the chakras also, then the granthis also, and our total output will be like Kauravas. If we want to be like Pandavas, then what do we have to do? Is see Pandavas. Next slide, please. Sorry, not used to talking so much. Now, what is the importance of human birth? The importance of human birth is that human subtle body system, these subtle bodies are there in animals also, but human subtle bodies and chakras, this is like, something like this, if we see the central figure, that if that is our physical body, the subtle body uh, the whole thing is as big as this much, something like 10 feet beyond our physical body is still our subtle body extending. The whole benefit of human birth is in human birth, this our subtle, this is called astral body, like these subtle bodies which are everything except the physical is the astral body. Now this astral body can get detached from physical, also go for travel, also go for dream also. But the beauty of this whole thing is a human body is like CD recorder come writer, writer come player, writer come player. So we have our subtle bodies with all the impressions of our past journey right from the Stone Age. All our impressions are recorded in our subtle bodies right from beginning. And human body has the capability to write on it all, whatever we do, whatever feelings are generated in us are recorded. The recording will be there. And we also have a capacity to clean the recording. Like, like CD writer, player come writer. That writer part can erase also, no? The CD can be clean for recording fresh. So human body has that capacity, and that's the beauty of human birth. Nothing else before or after is going to be useful. Before, we have been collecting. Afterwards, we are going to live with it. The only chance of doing something about it is in this physical birth. And how to do it is the subject of Mahabharata. And what Dadaji and Prem Sir has taught us. So we come to that part of it now. This so far so good? Next slide, please. Yeah, this shows that, the subtle body can separate from physical body and go for traveling in the night, for astral travel you call it. And if the silver cord which is connecting between the astral body and the physical body, if it snaps, then that is called death. This is astral travel, that is death. It cannot be reconnected by us. People, the great masters can connect the silver cord, but those great masters are as rare as the problem. So this is the way the astral body is dirty. And next slide, please. We have heard of Chitra Gupta. And what is Chitra Gupta's job? Is to keep a record of everything that we do. And then he keeps a logbook. And when our silver cord breaks and our subtle body reaches the Chitra Gupta, then he is going to open his book and see the tally of plus and minus, and then decide which way we go, the heaven or hell. Now, do you really think that there is somebody who is actually keeping a book? So my understanding is Chitra Gupta has meaning. Chitra Gupta is actually Gupta Chitra. These are the secret paintings on our subtle bodies. This subtle body, when it goes in the upper world, then Whether it goes this way or that way is an automatic decision. So our subtle body being clean is a necessity for going to heaven. If you have all this dirty subtle body, that means your deeds are not clean, then you go to the other side. So this is the understanding of our being, our existence. And now what we have to do is to see what can be done about it. So let us continue. Next slide, please. So now here we start with the symbolism in Gita. As explained by, as indicated by Mahavtar Babaji and explained by Paramahansa Yogaji. So with their blessings, we start our further journey. Next slide, please. These are the step brothers, first generation. You know these three people? Maharshi Vyas is also a step brother, Vichitra Virya and Bhishma. What is their relation? Vyas is the son of Satyavati and Parashar. Parashar Rishi and Satyavati. Vyas is their son. Bhishma is son of Shantanu and Ganga. And Vichitra Virya is son of Shantanu and Satyavati. So Shantanu common between Bhishma and Vichitrangad, Vichitra Virya, and Vyas and Vichitra Virya, Satyavati is common. So they three make stepbrothers each other. Why do I put them together? Bhishma is called ego. Mahavtar Babaji's guidance to us is Bhishma is like ego. Vichitra Virya is like, he was like the names in Mahabharata always are indicative. The Satyavati had two sons from Shantanu, Vichitra Virya and Vichitra Angad. Vichitra Angad, his body was Vichitra and his Virya was Vichitra. Now Vichitra Angad died prematurely and Vichitra Virya cannot produce children. Now Bhishma had been the person, he saw his father Shantanu being very sad one day and he wanted to make him happy and he asked and pursued and he found out that this Shantanu had seen Satyavati on that river or lake and liked her and since then he has been unhappy. So Bhishma said, what's the big deal? I can always go and ask her. We said, no, but her father is expecting too much. So he said, what is more valuable than your happiness? So Bhishma went there and met Satyavati. Satyavati said, you meet my father, I can't decide anything. So he went to his father, her father, and the father said that her son, she can marry, I can allow her to marry your father, if her son will be the next king after Shantanu. No, Bhishma was that come to tell us, eldest son, Shantanu's eldest son, and crown prince. He was crown prince of the kingdom. That after Shantanu, he was supposed to be the king. Now, he said, okay, like, I will not take the claim for the kingdom. Her son can become the king. So the father was smarter. Yeah, but you don't take the claim. But if your children take the claim, then what happens? And then Bhishma takes an impromptu decision. I will not marry. Now, how one can take, like if he is a crown prince, he is a responsible person. He is supposed to be responsible for the kingdom after his father. And he disowns his responsibility by saying that I will not become king, I will not marry to provide a next heir to the king, to the kingdom, and then you marry him. So Satyavati married Shantanu. Ego. This is one characteristic of ego, irresponsible decision making, impromptu, irresponsible decision making. Then let us go further with Bhishma. Bhishma arranged quite a few marriages, like, before that we have to go to Vyas. Who took the responsibility? Like Satyavati, when Shantanu died, Bhishma said that he doesn't want to become king. It is his oath. He will not become king. He said, then okay, you marry. No, I have decided, I've spoken oath that I will not marry. Satyavati asked him, for whom you took these oaths? He said, for you. Then I am telling you. No, but the oath is mine. I took it for you. But the oath is mine. So I will not break it. Can you see the way ego behaves? Can you see the beauty of the way ego behavior has been brought out in Mahabharata? But then what alternative Satyavati had? If you can't help me, then what can I do? Well, so Vyas is also my son. He is also your stepbrother. So if you don't take responsibility, and Vichitra Virya is incapable of taking responsibility, I'll ask Vyas. And Vyas is supposed to be, he is also enlightened master. He is also Rishi. And he said, okay, you have a job, I will do the job. So he went and Satyavati asked, in between, Bhishma had been trying to get wives for his Vichitra Virya and Vichitrangad and all that. And he had gone to that Swayamvar of Amba, that Kashiraj had that Swayamvar for Amba. And Bhishma reached there. So when Bhishma reached there, he thought that he has come for Amba. So Bhishma said, no, I'm not going to marry. My oath, I'm not going to marry. Then what have you come here for? I've come here for wife for my stepbrother. All the kings who had gathered there, plus Kashiraj himself, they all said, no, you can't do that. You want to marry, you contest. But otherwise, you get lost from here. So Bhishma had gone alone. The Mahabharata says, Bhishma defeated alone all the kings who had gathered along with the Kashiraj and his army. Bhishma was defeated alone, and snapped all the three girls, Amba, Ambika, Ambalika, and came back to Hastinapur. Now, this is the power of ego. This is the capacity of Bhishma. If he can do that, why can't he do that for Satyavati? Questions to be answered, questions to be thought about. Apart from that, he did not become king. So, in between them, okay, this Vyas had to get children for Satyavati's dynasty. So he had this. So Amba did not come with Bhishma, but Ambika and Ambalika were there. So she said, okay, you deal with them and I want the heir for the dynasty. He went to Ambika. Ambika was white with Ambika or Ambalika, one of them, white with fear. And what she delivered was Pandu, that skin disease Pandu Rog had there. The second person, this Ambika, she was so afraid of Vyas that she closed her eyes and then she delivered a blind person. So Satyavati requested Vyas that this blind person is of no use to us. So you give her another chance. So Vyas went back again. So this time she wanted to sort of get rid of him anyway, and she, instead of she going there, she sent her Dasi there. So this produced three children. Yudhishthir, Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidur. The blind person, who because of the closed eyes, is Dhritarashtra. The white-skinned person is Pandu, and the same person, Dasit's son, is Vidur. This is what we have come to as starting for Mahabharata. This is the plot race. How much time do we go on? I can go on.
Sir, you go on.
Go on?
Yes. Then now the plot is thickening. You go on.
Next slide, please. Now, these are 4 slides where they have given the number of shlokas in Gita and the participant in Mahabharata and the characteristic required in Patanjali Yoga Sutra for something. We have Patanjali Yoga Sutras which say how to proceed towards enlightenment, and each sutra gives you some message. Now, they have done a wonderful job of giving the shloka, what the shloka means, what are the, like in the first chapter, the shloka 3 to 6 talk of Pandav supporters. And then 7 to, I think, 14, next slide, it says the Kauravs thing, 7 to 14 or something, they talk of supporters of Kauravas. That number we will see in the next slide. So they have given in these next 4 slides the Patanjali Sutra, which deals with what and what are the requirements of Patanjali and what are the characteristics of the Mahabharata participants, war participants, and how they being on Pandava side is going to achieve Pandava's enlightenment, and how Kauravas supporters are going to make it difficult for Kauravas to achieve that. So these are the 4 slides. This one, the second, can we see the next 4 slides? Yeah, this gives the sutra in Patanjali's thing, what the sutra requires, and in the next thing it will give the what is the Mahabharata participant, which provides for what is required by that sutra. It's a very beautiful exercise, but it is very difficult exercise to explain on the PPT. So can I request you to see these 4 slides, and then if anything we can discuss in detail later on. But this, so this this Kripacharya, Bhishma, Karna, Vikarna, Jayadratha, Somadatti, Drona and Ashwathama, they are supposed to be the Kaurava warriors. What Kripacharya means is avidya, ignorance. What Bhishma means is asmita or ego. What karma means is rag or attachment. What vikarna means is dvesh or aversion. What jayadrat means abhinivesh or body attachment. Somadatti is karma or action. Drona is vipak and habit. Ashwathama is ashay or latent desire. Now I had collected all these and then went over each person. What is his Mahabharata character? And then compared it with how it makes suitable for that Patanjali Yoga Sutra. But that is that exercise took me about 3 months, and I don't think I'll be able to explain that exercise. But I'm just bringing to your notice what kind of work, what kind of guidance Mahavtar Babaji has given, and what kind of background work Yoganand Mahashaya has done to decipher the whole thing completely. These 4 slides, you'll have to excuse me, on PPT it will be difficult to communicate. We can always sit together and talk about it. But I can give you how it, previous slide please. I can just give you how it is interpreted. Like Kripacharya is supposed to be Kula Guru of Kuru Vamsha. Now Kula Guru is supposed to guide you about worldly matters. And in spirituality, worldly matters is considered avidya. Spiritual matters are vidya and worldly matters are avidya. So that is why Kripacharya is classified as ignorance and called avidya. But because what he is advising on is worldly matters and therefore avidya. Nothing wrong with him, but it's a question of what you consider spiritual and what you consider non-spiritual. Bhishma, we saw ego, how Bhishma is egoistic. So that part is asmita, so Bhishma is ego. Karna is rag, rag is attachment. Karna got sworn to Duryodhan because in Dronacharya's that competition, Karna was not allowed to participate because he was considered Sutaputra, that Radhe's son. So Karna was disallowed. So he was feeling hurt. He was very competent, but he was feeling hurt. So Duryodhana offered him a kingdom of that Angadesh. Angadesh ka Raja bana diya, and he said that now he is king. And because for giving him that status, Karna said that I am your friend for lifetime and I will never desert you. And for continuing that friendship, Karna accepted supporting Duryodhana in all bad things he did. But that is attachment to Duryodhana. That is why Karna is rag and attachment, and therefore Kaurava side warrior. Vikarna is similar thing. Vikarna is dvesh, Karna is rag and Vikarna is dvesh. So the aversion is in the same category. Jayadratha is the story now that he had sort of taken lead in cornering Abhimanyu, and then Arjuna said that before sunset I will kill him, and then Krishna had to cause the sunset by using his Sudarshan Chakra, and then but then till then Jayadratha was hiding, afraid of dying. So that afraid of dying is that body attachment, and that is called Abhinivesh. And therefore, Jayadratha is again on the Kaurava side. Dronacharya is very interesting. Dronacharya and Ashwatthama is beautiful, and I'll really tell you in detail as much as time you spare. It's wonderful, really, understanding. Dronacharya's guru was guru of war knowledge. He used to train Kshatriyas in war management. So Drupad had come there as a disciple when Drona was there as a son of the Rishi. Now Drona and Drupad, they became friends. And when they finished their training, before parting, they took vow that we will be in touch and we will be inseparable. And Drupad gave him a promise that you don't worry that you are not poor. No, I'm a king. After going back, I'll become the king. And then when I'm the king, I'll give you half the kingdom. And then you are rich, like, we'll be equal to each other. And those kind of promises were made. So Dronacharya did not have the money. His father was a great teacher, but a poor man. And Dronacharya had nothing to live with. So Dronacharya's son Ashwatthama did not even have milk to drink. So his mother gave atta mixed in water to him for the milk. You know all this story. So I'm just reciting it. His mother gave that. So he tasted, he had milk on. But then next time he went to somebody's house and had milk, he found out that this is the milk, that is not milk. So he went back to mother and said, no, I want that real milk. I don't want this milk. So then his mother had to tell Dronacharya that this is the ultimate, if you have to arrange for at least one cow to get milk for your son has to get milk. I can't mix atta in water for him. So then Dronacharya started on his excursion for earning money for a cow. The only way he had was to go back to Drupad. He had promised him half the kingdom, so go to Drupad and ask for the half the kingdom. He did that. He went there and he told him, I want money and cow and this and that. And he said, yeah, okay, I'll give you cow. How many cows you want? He said, no, I want that half the kingdom which you had promised. Then I will have my own cows as a king. He said, no. He said, Drupad told him, what we talked in the Gurukul as friends is something different, those promises are meant for goodwill, not for implementing actually. So Dronacharya then got angry. He said, no, I don't want cow from you. I want your promise to be fulfilled. This is what the negative Kaurav side people do. So he went, and the first time he came that well where Kauravs Pandavas were there because their Gulli Danda ka Gulli had gone into the well and they were not able to take it out. And then Dronacharya proves his capability by using his arrow to the way to get that Gulli out from the well. And then all those princes, all those Kauravs, Pandavas were impressed and they went to Bhishmacharya and said, this man is a great archer and this and that, and then took him to Bhishmacharya. And then for the first time, he was willing to work for money. Now why? Not for the milk of Ashwatthama, for taking revenge against Drupad for not keeping his promise. So when he accepted the assignment, he promised Arjuna that he will make him the best archer in the world if he helps him in getting his revenge with Drupad. That was the deal between Dronacharya and Arjuna. Now this starts explaining many things which happened later. So then Arjuna said, okay, no problem. I must be the best archer in the world. So the whole thing went on and we know what happened that Ekalavya one day came to learn from Dronacharya, and Dronacharya told him that he is not of a good caste, so he cannot be trained. So he went back. Now what to do? He made that statue of Dronacharya and learned from that statue. And he learned from that statue so much that when these Dronacharya took all his students to the forest for testing them, they saw that dog with his mouth closed by all the arrows without hurting the dog. And then Karna went to Arjun went to, sorry, my mistake. Arjun went to Dronacharya and said that this is something which I cannot do. So he is a better archer than me. That means your promise that I'll be the best archer in the world has not been fulfilled. And what does Dronacharya do? To make him not the best archer, he asked him Guru Dakshina of his right hand thumb. Without the right hand thumb, he cannot be an archer. You cannot hold the arrow without the thumb. Without the right hand thumb, he cannot be archer. And to fulfill his promise, he went to, this is Dronacharya. This is Dronacharya. Now, what is Ashwatthama? This is habit. Actually, Dronacharya is symbol of habit. He has these things in his mind. This is what is to be done. And that he will do. What irrespective of what is the repercussion. For fulfilling promise to Arjuna, he made that Ekalavya incapable of being an archer. This is for proving to Prabhupada that he can be king, he can be as rich as him, as equal. He plays all this game. He earns money for this. For earning that money, he makes this promise. And then to fulfill this, this is the character of Kauravs supporters. This is what is going to be the war between Kaurav and Pandav. We'll come to Pandav next time with this Kaurav part to sleep over. You tell me when next and I'll be available.
Okay, as you wish. So, what a wonderful session it has been. And it has been like opening our eyes to so many hidden secrets. And this is what happens when we begin to learn something. I mean, with the eyes of pure awareness, Babaji and the great masters have seen it all, and they have understood how the story is playing out in our lives and how we can benefit from the proper understanding of it. And
we have to now take this into how to use it in spiritual sadhana.
It is, of course, you see, the Bauddha Gyan has to be converted into Paurush Gyan. So Bauddha Gyan is okay, but when it seeps into the deeper level of Pragya, then it can become Paurush Gyan, and it begins to manifest in our lives. So wonderful. And we'll wait for the next session. Himaji, when can we have the next one? Any idea?
Sir, I will, because Kundraji is scheduled for the next Tuesday. I will ask him how he is placed.
Yeah, okay. We'll do something. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This is not Tuesday gathering, like, it can be any day gathering.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, any day.
Any day. Okay, we'll think about it. So what next do you want? It is 6 o'clock.
You decide and you let me know, we'll be on the phone.
Okay. So if anyone of you have any questions or any observations, please feel free to unmute yourself.
But I'm grateful for this opportunity because this topic is of tremendous interest to me. And I was looking forward to this kind of a gathering.
It is so obvious. Actually, we are so grateful to you for having given us this opportunity to bring you here. And
Sir, Sonika wants to.
Just a moment, let me.
Ji, sir.
Sonika.
Sir, I have.
Thank you. I have always thought, whatever Sir explained today, I always thought that, the story of Mahabharata as it's been told to us is not complete or true. And I never agreed to, how it's been told. But the way he told today and shown us a different perspective of it, it is like seeing a same thing from different angles. And today, I completely agree to what he was saying.
Thank you.
And I thought, maybe I was looking for something like this, where I'll completely agree, wherein whatever has been told by others is not complete and, just a part of that. Thank you so much for bringing light to the same thing, but maybe there must be a lot of other people like me also who feel that, things told to us is not complete or in parts has been told to us, or the lesson learned from it is not being conveyed properly. So I wanted this
Yeah,
session to be
I
very
was
long.
looking forward to some feedback for me for improving. Like,
No, in fact, Sonika, you have said what I felt. When Solegaonkar ji showed this slide saying that ask not what it means. There was this slide in the beginning which he showed. Ask not what it means, but ask not, is it possible?
how
Ask,
is this possible? No, not how is this possible.
and ask what it means. So a person who is a seeker, anybody who wants to know the truth, he is not so much concerned with the outer structure of things. He is not satisfied with that. He always or she always wants to go deeper into the very heart of the matter and see what it holds for him or her, and how it can become an aid to one's own practical life in this world and also to the inner life going towards freedom. So this is what it is like, opening this whole topic of Mahabharata from that perspective, the inner perspective. So it is really wonderful, and many of us just do not know anything about it.
And I never expected that this topic will come, suddenly like this, because I never told anyone that I am not convinced with the story of Mahabharata, how it has been told to us. And I was waiting, maybe when I'll reach to a level, I will go and do the time travel and I'll witness myself and I'll take my first hand experience to see what exactly happened. But see the divine plan, it was just a thought in my mind. And today he spoke about everything in such an elaborated and in a very easy manner where I can connect to him. Generally, I'm very, very bad in giving
So,
feedback.
Solegaonkar ji is available on telephone. Anybody wants to really connect with him, you are most welcome. It
You know
will be
what price I paid for
your
this?
own private satsang.
Yeah, you are
I would
welcome.
love to have that.
Welcome, anytime welcome. But
Rather, I
like,
would have
my guru had told me that I'll find somebody who will tell me about Mahabharata. But till then, you don't touch Gita.
Yes.
Because you will gather wrong impressions and then you will never understand the truth.
I must tell you, I have not read Gita except that chapter where the Arjuna does the Virat Rup Stuti. Because my father was very fond of it and he made me learn this when I was a child. Umaji, you want
I
to say
did
something?
not read Gita for 10 years. I did not touch Gita for 10 years.
Wonderful.
Then when I got this book, I got Gita and Mahabharata together. And then next 4 years, I was just doing that and nothing else.
Thank you.
Good,
Thank
it
you.
was very nice opportunity for me, but I'm looking for a lot of criticism or need to improve.
Umaji, please, you can unmute yourself.
Yes, sir, but we cannot criticize. It was so beautiful that, in fact, throughout I sat with my eyes closed, and as you were speaking, I could see the entire drama being enacted in front. It was coming from his heart so much that it was really wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. And so much of insight into things like, as you said, Bhishma and ego. I could feel, every thorn on which he was lying down seemed to be one aspect of the ego within him. And as he was clearing, it was really beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Umaji. Anybody else?
Shall I speak something?
Vinayji, a second, let me put you on the spot.
Very interesting talk. And I'm really grateful for Mr. Solegaonkar to deliver such a nice way how the different attitudes of the persons and connection with the various characters. Now, what about Dushashan? Dushashan has been a very, very bad character. How that has been equated with the individual attributes?
We divide Kauravs and Pandavas. We divide Kauravs as sensual tendencies. See, Dhritarashtra is blind.
Yes.
He marries Gandhari. You have time, no?
Yes, yes, please go ahead. It is very interesting.
He marries Gandhari because Gandhari is from that, POK area of Gandhar. Madhya Pradesh. Gandhar is next to Afghanistan. So he married to Gandhari because that's a very small kingdom. And Hastinapur kingdom of Kuru Vansh was supposed to be very powerful. Now, refusing the proposal from Kuru Vansh is inviting trouble. And this Gandhari had a blessing from Shiva that she will have 100 sons. She will have 100 sons. So this Bhishma's sole interest was in having a family of 100 sons. The smaller the family, bigger the family, stronger the family. No? 100 children means the 100 kingdoms can be looked after by one son each. So his interest was that. So he made the proposal, and Gandhar king had no guts to refuse the proposal. So he agreed to the proposal and they came. After coming, they realized that she is getting married to a blind man. They didn't even know that she is to marry a blind person. This is Bhishma. Then next thing, he jailed all of the Gandhar people. कि tamasha na kare. All of them were put into the jail. Then the marriage was fulfilled. Now what happens? Gandhari from the poor kingdom married to Dhritarashtra, blind man. She blindfolded herself. A blind woman under duress marrying to a blind man and blindfolding herself raises the children. How many 100? And what kind of training she is going to give to her children? They become sensual tendencies, not discretionary forces. Pandavas are discretionary forces. Kauravas are sensual tendencies. जो मन में आएगा वो करने का. So there is a hierarchy. Duryodhan is the highest. Dushashan is the second guy. So Pandavas, the hierarchy is going up. Kaurava, the hierarchy starts from bottom. Duryodhan is the basic physical desires. Dushashan is psychological desires. And so on. It's all very beautifully worked out by Mahatma. No, wonderful.
One of the brothers of the Duryodhan, I think Vikarn, he joined Pandavas. Is that true?
There is one brother who joined Pandavas, Yuyutsu. But Yuyutsu was the Dasi's son. Gandhari was not getting children immediately. So Yudhishthira had one child from Dasi, who was Yuyutsu. He fought from Pandavas.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for.
Thank you so much.
Anybody else wants to ask something, please? Or any feedback? How you enjoyed it? Enjoyed the session? It has been so enlightening. No?
Only waiting for the next one.
I'm waiting for the next one. Yes, everybody is waiting for the next one. So, Solegaonkar ji, you have won everyone over. And
So I told them that, not to be discouraged. Karke.
no. It was really.
I would request one thing. Before the next session, you have recording of the first session.
Yes.
If you go over it, then it will be better to.
That is because a lot of information was given in the talk, and so it will be better if people just. We will be posting the recording on YouTube, so it will be better.
You have the PPT, you have the recording.
The PPT is there.
If you become familiar with what happened today.
And to make it easier for people, sometimes when the video is large, it becomes difficult for the people having mobiles to use that. So what I will do is, I will extract the audio file from the video, put it on Google Drive, and share the link in the group. So anybody.
It is not necessary when the PPT is there.
Even the PPT is there. No, but listening to it in your voice is more enchanting. So that is why this idea came to me. So what next? Himaji, any suggestions? Shall we close?
Ji sir. Ji sir.
Can we have the meaning of the title Mahabharata next time? Why is it called Mahabharata? The symbolism behind it.
Anjali?
Yeah.
Anjali, yes, you could. Anjali ji, X second. Let me spotlight you. He wants to see you. She's there.
Somebody asking English question is exploiting my weakness. I'm not good at English, Anjali. I can tell you I'm good at English word.
The title is very much in Indian language, right? So Mahabharata is, I'm sure there must be some symbolic meaning behind that also, right? Maha is great. Bharat is.
So Bharat is a war, So this is a big war.
So, Acha. So Bharat is war, is it? Does it stand for war?
I think to me it means the continuous war that is happening inside us between the good and the negative or the evil forces.
No, I believe Anjali is on another point. She wants to know the very significance of the two words. This is a conjunct Mahabharata. So what is the exact significance of those words? Yes. So maybe he has given homework for each one of us to.
Bharat was the name of the country that time. So whatever was happening was in Bharat. And the Maha thing happening in Bharat is Mahabharata. That is the thing. There's no other significance that I know. I would like to learn if somebody can.
Also Bharata in Ramayana. Maybe it's linked to that. We don't know. And has
actually, it all started with Surya Vansha. Surya Vansha was Rama's thing. The same Vansha at a point became the Chandra Vansha. And then Chandra Vansha came to Kauravs, Kuru Vansha. So the lineage is same for Ram or this Mahabharata, Kuru clan. Krishna, of course, is different.
Okay. So today it would read as Great India, the translation.
I think there has to be a symbology also to this word.
That's what I'm.
It will not, it is just not the word.
That is what Anjali is trying to point out. So it
And
is, I think, homework
I
for each one of
really
us.
love somebody could find it out for.
And whosoever comes up with the answer has to be a speaker on this program.
सर अब ये गलत शर्त हो गई आपकी, सब भग
ये
जाएंगे.
सही शर्त है, क्योंकि जो रिसर्च करके ये पता लगा सकता है वो तो अधिकारी है. Anyway, so एक बार सोलेगांकर जी आपको बहुत बहुत हमारा प्रणाम और धन्यवाद. It has been such a wonderful session. We are so grateful, and the grace of the masters was so evident here. I'm sure everybody who has been here has felt that grace flowing through Solegaonkarji's words, and by being present in this program, we all have received something really noble. So thank you so much, sir. And would you like to do the concluding mantras, or you want me to do that?
Actually, he's into three-step rhythmic breathing. He teaches wonderfully, if I may intercept. So, if he could do a guided session of that, in keeping with the tradition of Tuesday.
Teaching three-step rhythmic breathing to the disciples of Tawariyaji
No, anybody can teach.
or Ranjanaji or Gaur Sahab. उनको मैं three-step rhythmic breathing सिखाऊं? Oh, come on, Anjali.
Not just teach, just practice. What I mean is.
So maybe next time we will have the audio with us of the three-step rhythmic breathing, and we can do something like that.
Right, that's what I meant.
Yes, next time. Yes. So, सोलेगांवकर जी आप concluding मंत्र करेंगे या मैं करूं?
आप करो.
So we'll do a Shanti Path and end with it. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhino Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti